Hello and welcome to Shadow Paranormal. This evening we've come to a location I've been wanting to investigate since I first heard about it well over a decade ago. A location with over 1,000 years of history, tales of witchcraft, highwaymen and murder. Today the ancient Ram Inn has become known as one of the most haunted places in all of Great Britain, with many stepping through the threshold, vowing never to return due to their disturbing experiences. This, without doubt, is one of our most anticipated investigations of all time. So without further ado, let's step inside and explore the dark history of this fascinating location. Although much of the current building dates back to the 16th century, it's certain that parts of it were built nearly 1,000 years ago, with records of a building on the site as far back as 1145. If a building of this extreme age wasn't enough, it's also believed to have been built on a pagan burial ground, which could be in excess of 2,000 years old. The inn was originally built to house the masons who constructed the nearby church of St Mary the Virgin, until its first vicar named Jonas moved into the property in 1154, where he resided for a number of years before an official vicarage was built in the late 1100s. Over the following centuries, the Ram changed hands many times and was home to a number of priests, as well as possibly having ties to the local wool trade. In the 19th and early 20th century, the building was first called by its current name, the Ram Inn, until it poured its last pint and closed in 1968. John Humphreys purchased the inn the same year, where he lived for the remainder of his life, dedicating his time to preserving the building and unearthing its many secrets until his death in 2017. During his time living at the inn, Mr. Humphreys experienced thousands of seemingly supernatural events, with dozens of guests fleeing in the dead of the night during its time operating as a bed and breakfast, as well as numerous exorcisms being performed, all of which appear to have failed. Since the 90s, numerous paranormal investigators have stepped foot inside the Ram Inn and have documented just about every conceivable type of activity, from sightings of apparitions, poltergeist activity, disembodied voices coming from nowhere, and disturbingly, a number of physical attacks, some even resulting in possessions. With evening drawing closer, we decided to take a walk through the building and visit some of the areas of the inn enveloped in dark history and high levels of paranormal activity.
I actually feel sick.
Same.
I don't even think it doesn't even feel like it's like an excitement sick. It feels like something else. This is weird.
This
I'm
actually
like-
feels nasty in here.
I'm physically shaking.
That's so weird. I'm not even barely through the door and I can feel that.
This does feel nasty, doesn't it? In here.
It doesn't feel right. Whatever it is doesn't feel.
This whole house has felt like an anxiety attack.
Yeah.
It's really strange.
In the 16th century, as the witch trials gripped the country, nobody was safe and at any time could find themselves being accused of witchcraft and hanged. The room known as the Witch's Room is said to be where a lady accused of witchcraft sought refuge before being captured and tried. She is believed to haunt this room, with many who have encountered her describing her as evil. Could her spirit here be fraught with such paranoia and fear of her eventual demise that anyone entering the room is even today seen as a threat?
So there's that cane hanging on the thing by the lamp.
Yeah.
So if you get that, and then you're supposed to knock on that like engraving thing on the door 3 times and ask, is anybody there?
Is anybody there? And then we go in.
Oh. Did anyone else hear that? Was that car?
Yeah. This is.
Oh, that's behind me. Wow.
I think this is where we'll be sleeping. Yeah.
The Bishop's Room is said to be one of the most haunted areas of the inn, with sightings of a ghostly cavalier materialising by the dressing table before striding across through the opposite wall. Two phantom monks have also been seen here on numerous occasions, along with horrifying screams being heard in this room, believed to be from a man who was murdered by having his head thrust into the open fire.
Watch this step here, James.
Nutcracker beam.
This is the other bed. See, I don't feel as bad up here.
Not as bad as I thought it would be.
Feels alright.
Maybe this is the chill room where we hide and sleep.
The attic is thought to be the former hideout of two local highwaymen. Legend also tells of the murder of a former innkeeper's daughter here. Disturbingly, people staying the night in the bishop's room below have often found themselves awoken in the dead of night to the sound of footsteps and something being dragged above them. Could this be the sound of the girl's murderer hiding the evidence of their brutal crime? On the ground floor next to the former men's bar is an area known as the burial pit, where during renovation work Mr. Humphreys unearthed the skeletal remains of a number of children, which some believe were the victims of ritualistic sacrifice dating from long before even the Ram Inn's construction. At night, some people believe that they have heard the disembodied sound of a baby crying at the graveside. Two of the most well-known entities within the Ram Inn is that of the incubus and the succubus. Now, in mythology, these are both sexual demons who will attack a man or a woman whilst they sleep and assault them sexually. John Humphreys actually had a number of encounters with said entity whilst he lived here, and there's been a number of other people who have also stayed in the building that claim to have also had similar experiences. Now, whether this demon does genuinely exist, whether it's sort of just been fabricated as a negative force, but certainly walking around within here, you can see where these dark, really disturbing stories may originate from. When we investigate places, we like to try and gather as much information as we can about the site, and this obviously includes looking at previous eyewitness accounts. Now, the late John Humphreys, who owned this place, was at the centre of many of the experienced and alleged sightings, and although he's obviously no longer with us to try and validate these claims, and by no means do I want to shine any negativity on his life and his legacy, but I do wonder if maybe some stories have grown larger than life over the years. Now, there's a number of ghost stories and legends from this place that have grown up over the years and really don't have any facts to back them up. I'm sure a lot of this is through mediums coming here and picking up on things, and other ghost hunters coming in supposedly picking up on things, and these stories have grown up around them, potentially people saying, you know, that they feel like there was a murder in a certain area, and there's not really a lot of hard evidence to back up a number of these supposed ghost stories. I mean, I know for a fact that a dowser visited this place and told John Humphreys that the burial pit was in excess of 5,000 years old, but there's no archaeological evidence to back that up whatsoever. And with things like that, it does show that although there has certainly been a lot of experiences here, how many of the actual ghost stories have grown up through legend and how much are based on hard fact? Hopefully that's something we'll be able to dig into a little bit deeper tonight.